The number of arrests by U.S. Border Patrol has doubled at the downtown Spokane Intermodal Center. We'll explain why they're seeing such a drastic increase.
And it's an inland Northwest favorite, Eagles, making their way to Lake Pend Oreille. Tonight we get an exclusive look from a different vantage point.
And more snow is headed towards the mountains. We'll talk about that and some snow expected here locally. Your forecast is up next.
We are tracking breaking news for you right now. There is an Amber Alert out for a 13-year-old boy in Seattle. Washington State Patrol says that boy was taken by a 42-year-old man. Authorities say they may be in a tan 1992 Bounder motorhome with a license plate BPP 8654.
So this is an example of what that motorhome looks like. If you have any information, you're urged to call 911. In the meantime, we will continue to track this developing story on air as well as on KREM.com. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Welcome everyone. It's good to have you here. I'm Whitney Ward. New at 6 tonight, Spokane detectives are looking for a witness in a sexual assault case stemming back from the 1990s. 64-year-old Mark Hoffmeister was arraigned in Spokane court today for rape and child molestation charges. He pleaded not guilty.
According to the Spokane County Jail roster, he is not in jail right now. Back in September, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office said they received an anonymous tip naming Hoffmeister as a suspect in a sexual abuse case that happened back in the 90s. Investigators say Hoffmeister used to be involved in local competitive gymnastics where he had frequent contact with children.
Now, deputies believe there are more people out there who have information about this man. So if that is you, you are encouraged to please call the number there at the bottom of your screen. Also coming up in our 10 and 11 o'clock shows tonight, Casey Decker is digging further into this case.
Border Patrol arrests in Spokane doubled in 1 year. Between 2018 and 2019, 71 people were arrested at the Spokane Intermodal bus station. A Border Patrol spokesperson said that increase is because the Spokane Border Patrol station reopened last May.
The intermodal station is owned by the city, which rents that land to Greyhound and other bus companies. Leaders say agents patrol the station 3 to 4 times a week now. Before, agents had to come from Colville to conduct those checks 1 to 2 times a week, depending on their manpower. A spokesperson for Shasta Groney issued a statement today after her dad passed away yesterday. That statement reads, Shasta is devastated at the death of her father after a long battle with lung cancer. Despite tragedy and distance, Shasta loved Steve with all her heart. She's asking for prayers for her family during this difficult time. Steve
died after a long battle with lung cancer. The Groney family became the focus of national attention in 2005 after a brutal kidnapping and murder. Convicted sex offender Joseph Duncan murdered Shasta's brothers, mother, and her boyfriend.
Shasta was miraculously found 6 weeks after the initial attack when Duncan took her to a Coeur d'Alene Denny's restaurant and she was recognized by a waitress. Shasta's testimony ultimately helped convict Duncan in the murders. He's on death row right now.
A family representative said Steve and Shasta were able to spend time together last October when Shasta got married in North Idaho.
Well, heads up for drivers. The North Cascades Highway will close for winter tomorrow morning. The highway closes when heavy snow is in the forecast and creates an avalanche danger. Drivers can use Highway 2, I-90, or Highway 12 to now travel across the Cascades.
In the meantime, Chief Meteorologist Tom Sherry is tracking some snow, maybe even a little bit down here in the valley, Tom.
Yes, we're going to see snow develop late tonight and in the overnight hours, just a little bit before midnight and then after midnight, up around 3 a.m. Right now, the computer modeling is less than an inch falling in the Spokane area, but could be slippery for your morning commute. Not a lot of snow, but enough to make it slick. 33 degrees right now. The chances of snow, as we talked about, looks like it's going to be from midnight on. Midnight through about 4 a.m. into 6 a.m. And then by 8 a.m., only a 20% chance of showers. But the widespread snowfall kind of between midnight and 2. Again, in the lower elevations in Spokane, should be less than an inch at 29 degrees. And then that snow will taper off, and then another weather system moves in by late tomorrow, by about this time tomorrow. And it looks like what that's going to bring is just plain old rain and continue to rain through tomorrow night. For the weekend, though, it'll be dry. 37 on Saturday, 35 on Sunday. Good news for skiers and snowboarders. Any snow or rain, or especially rain that falls here in the city, that's going to fall in the form of snow up in the mountains. I'll have your 10-day forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Looking forward to it, Tom. Thank you. A Seattle City Council member is proposing a ban to prevent landlords from evicting renters at all during the winter months.
And we want to know what you think about this. Do you think landlords should be able to do that? Let us know on our KREM 2 mobile app.
I also have a daughter on the streets here. And if you had to look at that in physical form, when that person looks just like you, you wouldn't even think of evicting people in the middle of winter. What is wrong with this picture and what is wrong with us?
Supporters of this proposal say evictions lead to homelessness. The Tenants Union of Washington says an eviction during the cold winter months could actually be a death sentence.
But not everyone is for an eviction ban. Some say the ban could become a rent holiday, sending a destabilizing message to the rental housing market.
If somebody down the hall is not paying their rent, that doesn't seem fair. To not have someone not paying the rent and not facing any consequences. And then what if there's a person that's disruptive or dangerous or threatening?
Here in Spokane, the City Council postponed a vote on measures aimed at aiding tenants. The ordinances include a requirement that landlords would pay $2,000 for relocation fees. It would also make it so tenants can only be evicted for a select reason. That vote, though, has been postponed until March.
All right, getting back to our poll now. Earlier we asked you, do you think landlords should be able to evict tenants during the winter months? And split right down the middle right now. 50% saying yes, another 50% saying no.
Keep
so
those
the
votes
debate
coming.
continues. Yes, thank you. Washington State Patrol is warning people about a scam that makes it look like they are getting a call from them. Troopers say the callers are using the number to call in fake bomb threats. The scam tells people they need to log into a website to ensure their safety. Troopers say they are not real and they are working to fix the situation. In the meantime, report any calls you receive to local law enforcement.
The Spokane Humane Society just got a new sign. 2 local companies, Mountain Dog Sign Company and Three Brothers Decking, donated it.
The old sign had been up for as long as anybody could remember and needed some repairs.
That is the kind of gesture that really resonates with my staff and with the volunteers, that the work they're doing with some of these hard to place animals is really paying off.
Both companies say they love the Humane Society and simply wanted to help out.
Nicely done. One of the most majestic sights to hit the inland Northwest each year has returned. Hundreds of bald eagles are visiting North Idaho to feed on the spawning kokanee salmon.
Tonight in our Inland North Best segment, Taylor Vito got a special view of those birds from Lake Pend Oreille. He and our photojournalist Jeff Bollinger actually bring this report to us from Bayview.
Well, it's not just Wolf Lodge Bay on Lake Coeur d'Alene, but also Bayview on Lake Pend Oreille, where the eagles are just loving it. Locals are telling us it's been a good year for eagles, and as we saw ourselves, yeah, eagle watching is good.